Just push it like this.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Zoom sessions on parenting. Today we are going to talk about
Hello.
five insights into choosing the right school, five insights into what you should look at in a school. And today's session will be mostly led by Munira. So, Munira, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pawan, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of these sessions. And we know that y'all are. We have a lot of parents who have been attending every session, and we are really grateful to be able to have this kind of an audience and get a lot of feedback about what y'all are doing back home after listening to these sessions. So thank you so much for being participating and being so open and welcome to the ideas and thoughts we've been sharing. So today we are going to discuss about something very pertinent. It is a question that we are all battling with, we are all wondering, and it is something that we all need to give a lot of thought. So how do we choose the right school for our children? Correct? That's the point of discussion today. And even before we move on, as is the custom, I would like to take a few questions. So do shoot if you have any questions about schooling, school, what are your thoughts about choosing the right school, and then we will go ahead and dwell more into the major five insights. Yes, if anybody would like to share, please go ahead, unmute yourself and share or ask questions. So you can think about what is it that you would want to consider before you select a school. What are your thoughts about a good schooling for your child? You can share from that perspective.
Yeah, hi Munibin, I would like to share.
Yeah, Fatima, tell me.
Yeah, first is the location.
Okay.
Second is the teachers and the staff.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these two right now I got in my mind.
Very good. So you will have to look at the location as well as the teachers and the staff. Wow, one of the points I'm going to talk about in detail. How do you look for the right kind of teachers in the staff? Thank you, Fatima, for sharing that.
Welcome.
What else? Any other questions, any other thoughts?
Munira, good evening.
Yes, very good evening, Shamsi.
Like it's environment, internal, infrastructure and all.
Infrastructure, the environment, the infrastructure, wonderful. Excellent. What else?
Hi, Munira, Monica
Hi.
here.
Hi, Monica.
Uh,
Monica, I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, hi. It is also
Monica, you're cracking up. Probably your network.
dance, music.
Okay, extracurricular activities. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I think what Monica is trying to say is the extracurricular activities. What are the extracurricular activities in an environment or in a school? Okay. Anybody else? Jyoti, would you like to share something? Hello, Jyoti. Okay.
Based on the
Mhm.
performance of the past years, the
Okay,
schools.
so you're going to look at the performance of the past years, the students who have passed out from the school, and yeah, that's an important point to keep in mind. We also have somebody who has shared. Anuj has shared. In short term, given the current situation, we will be in lockdown for some time. So a school which provides good support both to the child and coaching parents so that they can nurture their kids at home along with working from home. So a school which understands your present situation, your present scenario, and supports both parents and children. Thank you for sharing that, Anuj. Jyoti, do you have something to share? Okay. Anybody else? Suganya?
I would look at the student-teacher ratio
Wonderful. Student-teacher ratio, excellent.
and the overall development of the child.
Overall development. How is the overall development that is being catered to? Very good. Thank you, Suganya, for sharing that. All right. So we have, yes, Mr. Venkat, would you like to share something?
Nothing. I just joined.
Oh, okay. All right. Not a problem.
Munira, Kirti
Yes,
here.
Kirti. Yes,
So
Kirti.
I wanted to say that, a school that gives quality rather than like a big, like quantity of like a size of a building and all, I
Okay.
feel like many parents get tempted, like looking at the size,
Mm.
size, sorry, and I don't know, how much quality is going on there.
So when you say quality, Kirti, you mean the quality of education, the quality of the team. What is it that you are looking at?
Quality in every bit that they do with the child, from
Okay.
education to taking
Mhm,
care, from the nannies who are there, like each person. So basically, the person who found the school should be having that like with them. I mean, simply like I would say Blue Blocks, okay?
Thank you
So
so much.
since I'm a Blue Blocks parent, so you guys are like a living example of what you do. Like, it's not like super big, like an Oak Ridge or something, but yet, I mean, trust me, like, you guys are doing way better than any other school is what I feel. I'm not, I know other parents are also there on this call.
Yes.
Yet, I hope you got the context, right?
Thank you so much, Kirti, for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, hi Munira.
Hi, Nilima.
Hi. I think every school should have a big playground for the kids to play.
A big playground. Very right. Got that, Nilima. Thank you. All right. Great. So let me now share the 5 insights about how to select the right school for your child. So, the decision of selecting a school is by far one of the most difficult situations that a parent deals with. Let me share that right at the outset, that for each one of you, to select the right school for your child is not a small decision to take. It is a decision which is going to impact your child's life for the rest of his life. It is a decision which is going to impact your life as a parent. So even before we decide about the right school, what are the aspects that we need to keep in mind that are impacting this decision is very, very important. So before you even venture out into what are your options available in the available in and around you, like in the beginning, Fatima mentioned that I would look at the location of the school. So what we strongly recommend is that you select a school that is close to your home so that you always have access to it. So the proximity is a very important factor for selecting the right school. So something which is accessible to you, or which provides the transport facility to increase the accessibility. So these are the things you will start keeping in mind. Even before that, start thinking about what are the aspects of your child's development that you want a school to cater to. So you are going to take this decision keeping in mind your child's development. You are going to take this decision keeping in mind your child's emotional development. You're going to take this decision keeping in mind how much of this school is going to add value to your child's life for forever. Because we are not looking at a school as a temporary stopgap. We are looking at a school as a place which is going to impact your child's life. Hence, a good thought, a good informed decision is what you need to make as a parent. And both parents have to be on the same page while selecting a school. Like one parent being very convinced about a system, another parent, the other parent not being that convinced, will definitely have an impact on how your child takes to the school, will have an impact on your decision about that school, and you will always be in a situation of doubt whether you took the right decision or not. So it's very important that the parents are on the same page and you define the aspects by which you're going to take this decision. So you look at it and you look at the options that are available and you make a intellectual decision. So the decision is based on your intellect, that, okay, what is it that my child is going to get? What are the pros and cons of this school? What is the affordability of this school? So you're making an intellectual decision. The second aspect is that you're making an emotional decision, that when I send my child to a place where he is going to learn things which he's going to use for the rest of his life, then what kind of place is that going to be? What kind of an environment that is going to be? Who are the people who are going to surround my child? And that is an emotional decision you're making. You're making a decision based on the emotions that you go through as a parent and you want your child to experience as a parent. So you're also going to keep in mind, how is my child going to adjust to school? How am I going to adjust to my child going to school? So there are many such emotional factors that you're going to be keeping in mind before you take this decision. So you have to decide that, once you select a school, are you willing to trust that school completely? Because that will be primary to your child's adjustment and settlement to the school. Once you decide on the school, then you do not doubt it. You are not looking for other options, and you go ahead and stick with that school and ensure that you get all your concerns resolved even before you join your child to that school. Okay, so that's an emotional decision you're going to make. You're also making a social decision. So who are the other people who are coming to that school? Who are the adults who are coming to that school? Who are the people who are running the school? What is the intent with which they are running the school? So these are the social decision factors that you are going to keep in mind. Okay. Now, what would be the insights? What is it that you should look for is what I'm going to talk about. So I'm quickly going to share screen. I hope I'm clear till now. If somebody can just give me a little bit feedback.
Yes, Monica.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Since there was absolute silence on the other side, I thought I'll just check on you. So let's look at the first aspect. And the first aspect is that a school that caters to your child's needs and nurtures those needs. So why are we talking about the child's needs? We have spoken a lot since the last few weeks about how every child is born with all kinds of powers and potentials. Everything that your child requires to develop, everything that your child needs to grow into a well-rounded personality is already given to your child by nature. There is nothing additionally that you and I are going to give. So what should the school do when everything is already there within the child? It's like, I remember giving this example earlier also, but I'll give it again. Our trainer during our Montessori trainer always would ask, which is big, the seed or the tree? And we would all, answer, yeah, the tree is big because it looks bigger. But it is actually the seed which is much, much potent than the tree, because this seed has the potential to grow into a tree. So everything that your child requires is already there within him. What this seed requires is the right kind of environment, the right kind of soil, the right proportion of water, the right proportion of minerals, enough salt and enough salts, enough sunlight and heat. That is what is going to help the seed sprout and grow into a large tree. That is exactly how our children are. They're all potent. All they require are somebody to understand the needs and to nurture those needs in the right kind of environment. So if a seed, which can only grow in a tropical country, is put in a country which is freezing all the time, that seed is not going to sprout there. A seed which is meant to grow in a very cold region, in a pine tree, cannot grow in a tropical region because it is the environment. Does it mean that it is a bad seed? No. It just means that the environment that it requires, the conducive environment that it requires, is not there. And nobody understands what that seed requires to grow into that tree. So it is very, very crucial that the school caters to the child's needs and nurtures those needs. Now, in the first 6 years, what are these needs that your child has? Your child has the need for exploration. Your child has the need for movement development. Your child has the need for language development. Your child has a need for social development. Your child has the need for emotional development. Now, all these developments can only be expressed when they are in the right kind of environment and in an environment which provides them enough freedom to express and explore. So anything and everything, any kind of development, if it has to reach from a very nascent stage to the entire stage of fruition, then it's important that it is allowed enough time to absorb everything in the environment. So if you want your child to pick up a certain language, then it's very important that the language has been exposed to your child at the right age, and there is enough language which your child has had the opportunity to absorb in the initial 2 years. Then once the absorption has sufficiently happened, the next step is for the exploration to happen. Now, a school should cater to the child's need for exploration, because unless the child explores the language, so if we look at it in the initial stages, how is your child exploring language? Where the child just says anything, which most often than not is very gibberish to most of us. That is the exploration of language that your child has. So all the inputs that have gone in, now there is some kind of output that is coming, but that output is in a very nascent stage. Once that output or that expression has been allowed, there is freedom for that exploration, there is freedom for that expression, then this needs to be further refined. Like, language cannot be refined at the stage where child is still absorbing it. Language cannot be refined at the stage where the child is still exploring and expressing. Language can be refined once the absorption has happened, once child has experienced the freedom to explore and express, and then the child is ready for the refinement to happen. So at around 2.5, 3 is the time where children start exploring their world from the perspective of refining all the skills that they have developed. That is the time that the child requires an environment which will help him or her refine these developments. So we are talking about language development. We are talking about movement development. So a lot of activities which are given to the hands, where the child gets to refine the eye-hand coordination, the coordination between two hands, like using both hands to do a certain activity. The activities which child needs to refine the prehensile grip. So the prehensile grip is the grip with which the thumb moves against the fingers. This grip is very unique to the human beings and is only available or given to the higher apes. So this particular grip needs to be enhanced for child's need for movement development to be enhanced. And then we have the pincer grip, which is the grip of the 3 writing fingers, which really need to be consolidated before writing is eventually introduced. Now, once these basic needs are taken care, then comes the need for graphic self-expression, then comes the need for mathematical development, then comes the need for exploring the world at different levels. So that is when mathematics, language, the sciences, all of that need to be introduced after around 4 years of age. So a school which caters to these developmental needs. So what I've spoken about till now are the sensorial needs, the intellectual needs, the physical needs. But over and above that is the emotional need of the child. See, the child is leaving the comfort of the home for the first time when he or she is coming to school. Now, at this time, what is required is that the school becomes like a second home for the child. The school and the people who are in it welcome the child in such a manner that the child feels that I am not, this is not a new environment. This is not an environment which, is going to push me into anything. This is not an environment which is going to take me away from my parents. So these are very important aspects of your child's emotional development that a school needs to cater to. So how does it cater to these needs? So how does a school take care of the fact that child is going to come for the first time to school, and obviously child is going to miss the parent? So what we do at Blue Blocks is that when child starts coming to school, while many parents tell us that, oh, my child will adjust in one day, or my child is very friendly and within 1 week my child will settle down in school, we actually give the child whatever time he or she requires to settle in school. And in that duration, we expect one parent to come and accompany the child to school in the classroom for as long as the child requires. So as the child sees that you are not leaving him and going away home, the child does not experience being abandoned. In fact, your child feels that, oh, mom is bringing me to a place and she's also there for some time, or dad, or whoever, whoever you think is the right person to do this. So that person stays, and that person is like the anchor for your child in a new environment. It's like, when we travel to another country, when we travel abroad, and the minute we hear somebody speaking in Hindi or somebody speaking in Telugu or in our mother tongue, suddenly you start feeling that affinity and that nostalgia, and that feeling of familiarity becomes very strong, and you start getting comfortable in that new environment, which actually made you feel very alienated earlier. So that is the power of this one person who is going to support the child's settlement and child's adjustment to school by just being there, not participating in any of the activities, but just by being there till such time that child needs. Slowly, the person is taken away. So, initially the parent is sitting in the classroom, then the parent is sitting in the office, then the parent is sitting by the gate, and finally parent is leaving the child at the gate on that glorious day when the child enters the school and does not turn back and look at the parent again. Like, those are days which, parents, I have seen parents are most sad that, my child didn't turn back and say bye to me. But those are the days that we rejoice on. Now we know that child is fully adjusted to the school and is emotionally settled to take on all other developments with full swing. So that is what the school needs to cater to in terms of your child's needs, and this is one of the ways in which to nurture them. The other thing that I spoke about is the familiarity of the home environment. So that brings me to my second point, and that is the point about infrastructure. So what kind of infrastructure should a school provide such that your child not just adjusts to it, but utilizes it and grows and develops from it? So I know when we talk about infrastructure, a couple of parents have also mentioned that a school should have a ground. A school should have a lot of outdoor space, right? Now, in the first 6 years, a school needs to provide an environment which is as close to the home environment as possible. A ground is not part of the home environment. A big campus is not part of the home environment. But what it takes to provide that home, that the similar home environment, is that loving environment and an environment in which some familiar objects are available. So with the infrastructure that you need to look for a very young child between the age of 0 to 6, you definitely should look for the materials which are your child's size. So everything, right from the furniture of the school, right from the materials that they are using, from the access that they have to different parts of the school, is everything aligned to your child's size or no? That is very, very important and critical to keep in mind, that your child experiences comfort when he or she looks at this material. So all the activities that we have, right from the practical life activities, which are the day-to-day activities that we give to children, we ensure that we only use the materials which we find in our own region. We do not bring materials from other places or other parts of the world and adapt it to our culture. So whatever is culturally relevant, whatever is regionally relevant, those are the materials that are used. So for example, in Hyderabad, there is a certain kind of handicrafts which are very commonly seen in most houses or in most shops. Those are the kind of materials that we will keep in the classroom for the child to feel very comfortable. And a lot of activities which the child already sees at home, like sweeping, mopping, all food-based activities, all those activities are provided in smaller sizes, such that child can handle them with comfort. And that also fosters a lot of independence. Along with that, yes, the furniture has to be child size, such that the child can take care of himself and everything around him on his own. The washrooms have to be adapted to the child's size, because that is an important place which child requires to gain independence in. And it is a very private and personal activity. So one of the key things that we look at is how soon can we make the child independent to use the washroom on his own, such that he does not depend on the adult. Because every time your child is dependent on the adult to use the washroom, it is kind of, impacting his self-esteem. It is impacting his confidence. And we are very, very particular that we take care of these things. So the infrastructure has to first cater to your child's size. Every material has to be child size. Even the steps that are designed in a Montessori environment are made to the child's size. Can I request Neelima to put herself on mute? Okay, I've done. All right. So with me so far, that is what the infrastructure needs to cater to and take care of. Now, for us, what is important is that the child spends a lot of time in the Montessori environment in the first 6 years. And the kind of time that they spend with us in school, we want to utilize every minute with them where they are using the Montessori materials, the sensorial materials, the language material, the mathematics material, all of that which has been designed as per their physical size as well as the psychological age. We want them to spend maximum time using that material. Hence, on purpose, we have a smaller campus so that the comfort and the coziness of a home environment has been provided there. Yes, once they are older, 6+, they definitely require a more space and an environment which fosters a lot of physical activity. So our bigger campus, which is at Tillapur, that definitely has a very large outdoor area. It has a big ground where children can play in, because at that time is when they require this large space. If large spaces are provided at a very young age, it can be very overwhelming for young children. So we need to ease them into the environment outside the home environment very gently and with a lot of care and affection. So that is one of the things that you need to look for in the infrastructure. Of course, with infrastructure for older children, all the extracurricular activities are very, very important, and you need to also look at that along with the academics, because that like all extracurricular activities and the academics go hand in hand. They are not mutually independent. So they go hand in hand, and there's a lot of education that is happening with all these extra activities. So a good combination of these extracurricular activities which cater to children's intellectual needs and all the different kinds of intelligences that we have spoken about, like the multiple intelligences, is what is required to be offered by a school to fit into the perfect kind of infrastructure bill. All right. Now that brings us to the next point, that the most important people in the school environment are the teachers. They are not just there to give some concepts to the children, but they are the people who are going to take this extension, the whole extension of the home environment, to a next level. See, with a few little older children, I'm sure you've already heard that once the teacher says something, then she becomes primary, the primary of primary importance. Like the way she pronounces things, that is correct. But the way the mom is pronouncing, that is not correct. So that is the level of relationship a child develops with a teacher. And for that, what is it that the teacher should have? So the teacher is not, like I said, somebody who is going to give a few concepts, but she is someone who connects your child to the school environment. She is the link between the child and the environment. She is the person who's going to be giving all the lessons. She is the person who's going to be hand holding your child. So a teacher needs to be prepared at various levels to be able to start working with children. If we look at what kind of teachers are available in the world today, you will see that the most qualified teachers are hired at university level, at a level where adults or adolescents don't even need a teacher to teach them anything. They can teach themselves. They can figure things out on their own. It is at the pre-primary level that a good teacher and a qualified teacher is required. All teachers who have the right kind of qualification, the right kind of preparation to work with children. So when you're looking for a school, definitely look at the credentials of teachers. See what happens with most preschools. They look for somebody with good communication skills and somebody who has, who has taken a break, a working mom, or, who took a break because she had children and, wants to restart a career in a comfortable industry, normally ends up becoming a teacher. But is she fully prepared to deal with all the different needs of all the different children in the environment? Is she ready to deal with all the emotional upheaval that children are going to have because they have been separated from their home environments? Is she ready to deliver on all the educational requirements, all the deliverables of education? Because for that, a very high standard of understanding is required. So when we talk about trained teachers, of course, because we follow the Montessori system and we propagate the Montessori system big time, we also talk about the AMI training. Now, this particular training is an intense training program which completely alters individuals. Like from being a normal person, you will turn out to be a completely different individual at the end of this training, because you start looking at children as a hope for mankind. You start looking at children as the hope for our future generations, as a hope for our nation. Today, if we look at children, they form 1/4 of the world population, but they are 100% the future. And all our investment has to be in this age group, in our children below 12 years. So good, trained, qualified teachers. I would not speak a lot about teachers having lot of experience. So while experience is good, sometimes it can also be a hindrance, but well-trained teachers and teachers who are working with children with the right kind of intent is very, very critical. So what is the intent with which this teacher is working? What is the background that this teacher has? How much does she understand about child psychology, about pedagogy, about child development? And how comfortable is she with children is very important. So more than a loving teacher, I would say a teacher who provides enough respect to the child and the child developing on his own is the kind of teacher you're looking for, or are the kind of set of teachers you're looking for, right? So in the Montessori context, Dr. Montessori always said that as a Montessori guide or as a Montessori teacher, you should be prepared to become part of the furniture. What she meant by that is that your significance is only limited to linking the child to the environment, and that's it. Beyond that, you're not there to correct the child, you're not there to interfere with his development, and most importantly, you are not teaching anything to the child. It is the child who is self-learning. It is the child who is self-constructing. You are only working as a catalyst. You're only preparing everything and leaving the child to do his work. I go back to my example of a seed, that you sow the seed and you leave it in there. You keep providing the enough water, the minerals, the sunlight, the heat, but you don't keep removing the seed to check whether it's growing or no. You put it in there and you let it be. And once it grows, you are not taking credit that, oh, I made the tree grow. No. It is the teacher's job to actually, become insignificant after a certain point. So along with taking care of the children's emotional needs, a teacher needs to be able to handle her own emotions as well. So it is great to be attached to children, but how attached? Attachment that will not allow the child to grow is not good. So the kind of attachment that will let the child blossom and grow to the optimum level is what is the quality of a good trained teacher. So trained teachers is definitely something you're looking for. And along with the training, the various aspects that I mentioned about, her psychological preparation, her emotional preparation, her physical preparation to be along with children, because, one requires a lot of physical stamina to work with children. I'm sure each of you who have one or two at home can completely relate to this, that teachers need to have double the energy to work with children. Right now, when we talk about the the infrastructure and the teachers, you need to keep in mind that the infrastructure or the teacher does not require to be very flashy. Okay, so like, let's say that if a teacher walked in with flashy clothes, or a costume, that would not help your child in developing in the right direction. It would only cause a distraction in his learning. So just like how we do not want teachers to be like that, we don't want teachers to be fancily dressed, or, have those costumes to attract children. Similarly, the infrastructure has to be very simply created. So no flashy colors in the environment. None of those cartoon characters are required in a school environment to attract children, because they will completely defeat the purpose. The purpose of these flashy cartoon paintings and images and all of that is to attract children. But actually, they do the job of distraction. So it is defeating the purpose for which it was actually made. So you need to look at an environment which has minimal distraction. Similarly, the teacher's training allows her to become a minimal distraction in the classroom. So when you see a Montessori environment, you will see that the teachers are hardly visible. They're just there doing their job. They're just like those, like those security guards. They're taking care of the safety, security of the child. They're taking care of the needs of the child, nurturing them, and then taking a backseat. So that is the quality of a good teacher, who minimizes herself such that children can maximize, right? Now let's come to the fourth point, or the fourth insight, that the school follows a solid, researched, proper philosophy. Now, when you're looking for a school, it's really important that you look at what is their teaching methodology, their teaching pedagogy, and their teaching philosophy. What is it that they are basing all their education in? So are they just following a board? Are they just doing something that they have heard, or they think is good? or are they trained in a certain philosophy? Are they, are they following the philosophy not just with children in the environment, but you see that philosophy being reverberated in every department of the school. You see that everybody, from the teachers to the management to the support staff to the attenders to the drivers, everybody is following or is in sync with that kind of a philosophy. Everybody is completely committed to that kind of a philosophy. So having a good firm education philosophy or education pedagogy is very, very important. And then that will also help you understand the right kind of training. So once you know that, okay, the school follows this particular philosophy, then you look at, okay, are the teachers trained in that philosophy? Is the management trained in the philosophy? What is the kind of training that they're providing to the support staff? Is everybody getting trained and aligned to that philosophy or no? So having a philosophy will help you understand about the infrastructure. It will help you understand about the trained teachers. And it will give you a good reason to go ahead and go with that, opt for that particular school, because you understand the philosophy. Now, while the school understands the philosophy, the school follows the philosophy, how much is the school willing to share this philosophy with the parents is also very important and very critical. So as a preschool, when we look at a school for children below 6 years, and to some extent even between 6 and 12 years, there is a majority chunk of time that the child is spending at home. How much does the school support the parents in involving the child meaningfully at home? What is the role of parents that the school is looking for? Does the school even have a defined role of parents? Or does it only look at, okay, the parents are there to attend parent teacher meeting, some sessions, pay the fee, and that's it. Don't ask us any further questions. Or is it open enough to share its philosophy, to support parents with following the same philosophy at home? Now, that is very important. So in the beginning, before I spoke about the aspects or the insights, I mentioned that it's important for parents to be on the same page while selecting the school. Once you have selected the school, then it's very important that the school resonates with the home environment and the home environment resonates with the school. So there will be certain changes you may have to make in your home environment or in the way in which you are bringing your child up, such that it matches the school philosophy. So how much is the school supporting you and helping you with that? What is their philosophy or what is their policies on parental involvement? How much are they willing for parents to be involved in the school? How much are they willing to get involved in the child's development at home? That is also a very important point to consider before selecting the school for your child, because it gives you an insight into how much the school cares about your child. So as an educational organization or an educational institute, the responsibility does not remain only during the time that the child comes to school, but the minute the school is involving the parents with a lot of work even at home. And I don't mean homework, but I mean meaningful activities that will cater to the child's development. It clearly shows that they are very keen, and they are taking responsibility for your child's development even at home. They are not abandoning your child at home. So a school which has a proper parents involvement policy is a good school to consider for your child, because then you know that, yeah, they will update me, they will keep me in the loop, they will keep guiding us on how to work with the child at home. Because for a school, it doesn't matter what you do at home. But if a school is taking that extra effort to make sure that you are fully involved with your child's development at home, it is also taking responsibility for your child's education at home. It's taking responsibility for your relationship with your child. It is ensuring that you develop the right kind of relationship with your child, which is very important for education in turn. Most often than not, as children grow up, all the problems that they face in school, like all the academic challenges that they face, most of them can be rooted to household issues. So a school which is taking care of that, is taking care of how you build your relationship with your child at home is a good school for your child, right? And once you have looked at all these aspects, all these insights of a school, and you have finally experienced or felt that, yeah, this is a good school for my child, you have to trust it 100%. Unless you, your spouse, everybody at home are fully convinced, are fully in for a specific place that your child will go to, your child's adjustment will be directly proportionate to that. So the more you are convinced, the more you are happy, the more you are clear that, yes, this is the kind of education I want to give my child. This is the kind of infrastructure, these are the kind of teachers and the kind of management that I want my child to be surrounded by. This is the philosophy. And I'm glad that they are giving us enough work to do at home such that, we are fully involved with our child's development. Then is when you make the decision of putting your child in that school. Getting that with me so far? Great. Yeah, I would like to invite Pawan. Pawan, would you like to share some insights as well? Pawan, are you there?
Yes, Munir.
Right.
Yeah, so I think you covered pretty much most of the points. Let's add to the content from the questions.
Yes.
All right, so let's take questions now. Any questions, anything else which we haven't covered, which you would want us to cover, talk about, or any specific topic, specific aspect of schooling which you want us to elaborate about? Looks like that was quite overwhelming, right? There are so many points covered.
I know.
Like normally, what I have seen parents look at is 80% of the weightage is given to the infrastructure, the look and feel, the size, the infrastructure design, architecture design, and 20% weightage is what is given to everything else. Whereas now we have brought forth the weightage of the infrastructure to 20% out of 100%. Yes, and that too, that 20% not what we normally look at. That 20% is how child-centric is the design of the place, how natural is the place, what kind of natural elements are added to the place, because what nurtures children's mind is the nature and not the man-made part. So how much of natural environment the school is able to create, like all those tiny elements, like does it cater to child sensorial need, does it cater to child's need for movement, does it cater to the social development, how is the design of the school, does it nurture the social development, does it take care of the emotional development, does it cater to the child's psychological needs of sense of safety and security, does it create that warmth in the place, or is it like too jazzy, so while infrastructure is important, we are saying it's 20% important, and those elements which mostly we look at it from the adult's perspective and not from the child's perspective. I would really invite each one of you to visit our both campuses, preschool and full school, and would love to give you a tour from the child's perspective, how every little element in the environment is taken care, taking into consideration what are different children's developmental needs. So somebody who can understand the child psychology, somebody who can understand the child's needs is the one who can design the space from the child's perspective, right? While we spoke about the teacher, what I would also like to talk about is, like, if you are looking at a school, don't speak to the teacher. Just observe the support staff. Look at the support staff. If the school has invested into training the support staff, then you can be rest assured that everything else would have been taken care of. Like a school really which understands the child's needs would ensure that the support staff is certainly taken care of. The support staff's behavior, the support staff's attitude, the grace, courtesy, mannerisms of the support staff. Like, we have designed a 100-hour training. We have a 100-page PPT to just train the support staff. Every support staff who joins us goes through rigorous training. They are trained in simple things like how do you put this glass down without making noise? With how much of grace, courtesy can you put this glass down? So if the school can think of training the support staff, I think that itself will be more than enough for you. You don't even have to talk to the teacher. Observe the support staff, not just one. If you're just able to observe one, then it might be that they got a good support staff. But if you can observe 2 or 3 different people in the support staff, you will know how much focus the school has on training, how much the school understands the child. And in terms of safety, security, and hygiene, if you just look at their washroom, you will get to know the systems, processes, and the administration of the school. If they can maintain the bathroom well, then they really are taking care of the safety, security, and hygiene. So from safety perspective, you'll have to look at all those elements of safety, the sharp corners and other stuff. But from hygiene perspective, look at their washroom and you will get to know. All right. We have 10 more minutes. Let's see if you have any questions about schooling in general, any specific question you have about Blue Blocks, feel free to ask, or anything specific you would want us to elaborate on. Yeah, Masuri.
Hi, Pawan. I want to ask if we're changing from one school to other school, is in a higher grade, after 6 years, maybe we're changing from one school to other schools. So what are the aspects we need to look and around, and is there would be any difficulty for, is there any challenges for the child to go to other school after 6 years?
So there are 2 questions you have asked. One, what do we look at in the full school, and then what will be the impact on children, right? So
Yes,
children
yes.
have amazing ability to adapt. You put them in any place, they will adapt. You move from a big house to small house, they will adapt. You move from a small house to a big house, they will adapt. You move them from small school to big school, they will adapt. So children's ability to adapt is amazing. All right. So you do not have to worry about the adaptability of children. What you need to look at is from Montessori. If they're moving to grade 1, you need to understand where are they. Are Montessori children, are they at par? Do they have more information, and are they better equipped? Do they learn more in Montessori versus these people, children who have got to grade 1? We just have to look at that. So in Montessori, both with language and math, our children do way more than the traditional school teacher. Our children are not just writing in 3-letter words, but they are writing in multiple word sentences, and they are writing in cursive script. When these grade 1 children are learning cursive script, our children are writing elaborately in cursive script. PP2 children are learning in grade 1, they'll be learning addition 2-digit. Our children would have already done multiple digit addition, multiple digit subtraction, and also would have done a lot of multiplication. So they're academically way ahead of the traditional school children who have moved from PP2 to grade 1. So that takes care of their academic part. And because they already know more, most of our children who have gone to grade 1, they are the favorites of the teacher, because they are not just able to do everything which teacher is asking, but they are also in a position to help other children. So did I answer that, Masu?
Yeah, thank you, Pawan.
Thanks for asking that. All right. Any other questions? All right.
Pavan, I would just like to add
Yeah,
before we
please.
sign off that see these 5 insights that we have given you today are some of the most important aspects that you need to look for in a school. There will be many others. So this is not an exhaustive list. I think if we are given the opportunity, we can list out 100 different aspects or insights into selecting the right school. But these 5 are the things that you just shouldn't miss out on. You must consider these before you look at all other aspects. So it is more like a push into looking at more aspects and then finally taking a decision, because deciding the school is something of very high importance. And especially in a country like India, where we give so much importance to schooling and the right kind of education, this is an important decision for you as parents, and we completely get that, we completely understand that. So yeah.
All right.
Great. So if we don't have any more questions, we can sign off the session a little early today.
Yeah, yeah. But let's wait for 15 more
Yes.
seconds to see if
Yes.
somebody has anything to say or ask.
Yes.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. I think few weeks ago I asked for this session and it came up. Thank you so much. It
Oh,
helped me a lot.
but you are the one who has asked for it. All
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Thanks for asking that.
Thank you so much.
All right. So next week we are doing these sessions not on Zoom, but on our Facebook page. We'll be doing live sessions. We'll be posting the schedule by this weekend. I'm assuming all of you have our Facebook page link. Or Sheetal, can you please post the link here, our Facebook page link, so that everybody would like it and check the schedule by Saturday evening. We
Sure.
should definitely would have posted the schedule for the next week. And if you would like to promote, you can start promoting that link with the time mentioned in the event page of the Facebook. All right. All right, great. Yeah, so since we have 4 more minutes, we have Karthik. Are you there on the call today?
Yeah, hi Pawan. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So Karthik was sharing this morning. Karthik is one of our Blue Block parents. He was sharing how he created a WhatsApp group with parents of similar age group, and he's been posting a lot of details about our session. So if any of you would like to do that to promote, we can learn few things about how Karthik has been doing this. Karthik, would you like to please share?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you, Pawan. Pawan and Munira, it was a fantastic session actually. I mean, I really appreciate all the work that you are doing and the effort. That every single day, putting 1 hour of your precious time. It's not something that we can take it lightly. And I mean, from my side, what I'm doing is very little. Just like how we are getting benefited, we would really like to help our friends, like relatives and close friends, also to participate in the session. So, I mean, in the initial, from the past 3 weeks, we have been doing that, and when the few of my friends have been plugging in consistently every day. So, I mean, I have created a WhatsApp group earlier, actually, after reading your book, right, Lining the Nest. On the last page, it was written that form a WhatsApp group, right? So I did that. Our group name is also Lining the Nest, and we have added few of my close friends who are also parents for young children, right? So majority of them present in that group are here in these sessions. So they have been attending here consistently, and so in the group, we basically, after the session, we just share our thoughts, and we, especially for the ones who are missed, right, we create a pull that they should not miss tomorrow. Well, just kidding, but yeah, we actually wanted to keep that group alive, sharing the thoughts, their experiences, especially during the lockdown period. Sharing each other thoughts is always helpful, right? So we did that, and keep posting few lines from your book, Lining the Nest book, right? Keep taking pictures from those banners there, and keep posting, just to keep the spirit alive. And many of us in that group, we look forward to attending this 3 o'clock session actually. So yeah, just that is what I was sharing with Pawan, and yeah, thanks for giving an opportunity to talk to you. Shravan, you want to say anything? I'm just.
Thank you
Go
so
ahead.
much, Pavan and Munira. The sessions were really awesome. We really.
I think it's on your phone, right? Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, the sessions were really awesome, and I really enjoy. I've been attending this, the training, Montessori training, AMI, and I have learned, and now I can relate more. What you're saying, and it makes notch higher up. Making more sense now. As a parent, I've been hearing, and now I'm hearing it in a different way. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thanks for being
Yeah,
part of
thank you.
Thanks. So for those of you who would like to help us spread this, this is one way you can do, bring the parent community, create a WhatsApp group where you can keep sharing the insights, keep sharing the YouTube links of our session, keep sharing the invites of our sessions. All right. All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again for being part of these calls. I'm unmuting everybody. Let's acknowledge everybody once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next week on Facebook.